All right. Peace, family. Peace, family. We should be live right now. Let me know if y'all can hear me in the chat room. Let me know if y'all can hear me. I'm with the Queen Aquarius, Maximus. If any of y'all was in the last show we did, y'all know sister made a hell of a prediction that I was directly involved in. You know what I'm saying? All right, 305. Y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me before we get started. Just want to make sure the audio is good because this is going to be an explosive show. We're going to be on here. Okay, loud and clear. Everything's good. All right, let's get to a few ads and then I'm going to get the show started with the Queen Aquarius Maximus. Get yourself comfortable. Make sure you hit that like button. Share this video to your friends and your family and your loved ones because there's going to be a lot of important spiritual information delivered today. All right. But let's real quick, family, you know what's going down. The NFT DeFi Metaverse 5-hour masterclass hosted by Chicago Bitcoin Bully. It's going to be an explosive one. This is on December 11th, family. Go to the website, www.nftmasterclass.eventbrite.com. All right, that's going to be explosive, family. You don't want to miss that right there. Shout out to King Simon, one of the best in the world when it comes to numerology. You could text that brother your full name and date of birth, and he will get back to you with a reading. The brother's also having an online class, a celebration of his 26th anniversary and promotion, featuring Lloyd Strayhorn, Blue Pill, Dr. Valentine, and Ella Samori. I always mess up on it. Ella Samori. But shout out to them and what they're doing. Aquarius Maximus, welcome back to the show.
Hey.
It's good to have you back on here.
Thank you.
And it's good to know that your health is good. I
Thank
know you were dealing with a battle with COVID, correct?
Yeah, pretty much for the whole summer.
Mm.
Ended with a bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did your personal battle with COVID, did it change your outlook on COVID and your perspective and the things you say?
It definitely changed a lot in my life. It was, I'm a Scorpio, and a bunch of people came at me and they was like, well, you know how Scorpio is. It's like y'all go down with a burning flame and then come back and you're a totally reborn person. And I actually feel that's what I am. Like I literally had a near death experience in there. So, you can only be different. You can only see things different after that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Did it make you like in terms of a lot of conscious people feel as though a mask is senseless? Did you second guess like the mask and all of that? Like how did it affect that?
Well, I know that things are destined. I was told, by my spiritual elders that I was going to get COVID, that I was going to get really sick. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, honestly, though, but I should have known, when your spiritual elders tell you in a reading you're going to get sick, best believe it's going to be bad. So just brace yourself. So I was already prepared for that. But one of the things that I knew is that for whatever reason, I was supposed to have it. Because it wasn't like, we were in the reading and, I'm in the tradition. I'm in, Ifa, I'm a priestess. And typically when you get a reading like that, you do something to make it go away so it won't happen. But we didn't change it. It was like it had to happen. Like this is gonna happen. You're gonna survive. But I obviously had to go through that. You know what I mean? Because it happened. So that was the understanding that I experienced, was I needed to experience this. So, and I did, and it was a hell of an experience. I tell you that much.
I could imagine.
It was definitely I learned a lot. And my faith was strengthened. I had a lot of visitors in there, I like call my angels, just nurses coming in there telling me, we're not going to let you go. We're not going to let COVID take you. You're going to leave out of here fine. They forced me to rehabilitate myself so that I could get out the hospital. Come on, we gotta get up. You gotta get up. You gotta get up. So, I'm in the bed, I'm in pain, I can't breathe. They're like, come on, you gotta get up. You can do this. So it was an experience. It was like very, very enlightening. I felt like I was very protected.
Your aura is a little different.
Yeah.
From last time, yeah.
Yeah.
Your energy is a
Yeah.
little different. It
Yeah,
definitely is.
they said, pretty much about a week later, I was on CNN. I did a
Wow.
CNN interview a week after I got out of the hospital, and I
Mm,
literally had to take, because I came home in oxygen, I had to take the oxygen out to do the CNN interview. And they was like, "Well, I couldn't tell you were on
mm,
oxygen." I was like, "Well, that's good." 'Cause I was,
mm. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you're doing better. I know you had a master class around that time. Did you
I
read?
did. I did. I had pushed the master class back, and we
Oh,
wound up doing the master class.
okay.
And the last classes I did, I was sick with COVID. So I had done a class, but right before I went to the hospital, and I told them, I
Mm,
said, I'm probably gonna be going into the hospital. And they were like,
mm,
are you kidding? Are
mm.
you okay? And yeah, it was pretty bad. So
Wow.
because at that point I had double pneumonia. I had pneumonia in both my lungs. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, glad to know you. I'm glad to see you in such high spirits. That's what real high spirits right now.
Yeah. I just like there's so much information downloading right now. It's like it's so exhilarating, and I have to drop what I'm doing real quick to get the information out. Like there's so much
Wow.
coming in. It's like it's so I can't even describe it. It's way more than before I got sick. So if anything, my brain has turned into a bigger antenna, I think, because
Mm,
I do have some memory issues,
mm,
but it's like throw the memory issues aside, I get like all this new information coming in my head. So yeah,
mm,
it's crazy.
mm. Well, let's get
They
to
said they're
the.
saying the sound, something with the sound. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I hear a couple of people. I see a couple of people saying that, but I don't see anything wrong. And people are saying that if the sound is out, let me know, family. I see a couple of people
Somebody
saying.
asked me, did I get the jab? No, I didn't.
Okay.
I'm not vaccinated. We live in non-vaccinated land over here. No one gets vaccinated over here.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I'm in that. I'm part of that same crew. So you
Yeah.
know. Let's get to this. Is a lot of people are like, I don't know if shocked is the right word, but we're like, yo, what the hell happened at this Astro World concert? I heard people was getting stuck
Woo!
with needles in the neck. I heard just
Woo!
all people couldn't breathe. They said it was like living in literal hell. I mean, what's going on from your science and your, from what you study? Well, I seen you posting a lot on Instagram, so I know you got a lot to say. So I just go off. Let me know what is going on with this.
Yeah. Travis Scott and I are the same card, the four
Mhm.
clubs. So I was instantly magnetized to like that. And I was like, I gotta find out what was going on with this because it drew me in. And knowing that he's a four clubs, I'll tell you this. I know that he's pretty brilliant. He is a medium, he's an avatar, he's psychic. So he's not totally in the clouds about spiritual stuff. I mean, he knows things. So I looked into his cards and he had a massively transformational spread this year, right? And if he had to come to me for a reading, I would tell him there's no way in the world I would advise you to do a large event with the spread that you have. No freaking way. He had an ace of spades in Uranus. So that's the crowd. The ace of spades is death. There was definitely going to be death at some, taking place in his peer group. So that's the people around him. And then his Pluto card this year is the King of Diamonds, which is greed. So I would assume that this is his promoters and this is the people behind him. The business people who are behind him are very greedy. So they're doing this event, and this event was like 50,000 people. And I've been saying this since last year. This is not the time for big events, not at all. These big events are going to be very sacrificial. You're risking your life going into a big event right now. I mean, and that's clear. I mean, literally, we're still in the middle of a pandemic, whether you believe it or not. This is just not the time for that type of thing. Um, but I was analyzing that because the day that this event took place, I did a prediction on Twitter. And I said on Twitter that there's going to be a tsunami next year, that there's going to be a tsunami, and it's going to originate from La Palma. The La Palma, and in just this summer, La Palma had woken up. Actually, it woke up on a Five of Clubs day, and the Five of Clubs is an echo of the what do you call it? The eclipse, the Great American Eclipse took place on a Five of Clubs day. And the Five of Clubs is about the winds of change and transformation, unexpected changes and transformations. So this summer on a Five of Clubs day, that volcano began to wake up, those volcanoes. So I began studying La Palma in the Canary Islands. And one of the cards that comes up very prominently is the Two of Clubs. Now, Astro World, which was the name of the event, is also a Two of Clubs, right? So I began talking about the link between this event as a foreshadowing event for what's to come with La Palma. Interestingly, I don't know if people see me post it and maybe post it afterward, but there have been other people saying the same thing. So people had tagged me to a couple of other people, even some astrologers that were talking about this coming, and then they started linking it together. Someone posted on Instagram a picture that he had what looks like a volcano behind him in a portal, and La Palma is, spewing ashes over there in the Canary Islands. So they were like, wow, this looks really eerily similar to what's going on. So what's happening is that people are picking up, the signs are getting clearer and clearer, because we're dealing with Aquarius energy right now.
You talking about this right here?
Right. I'm talking about that. So You got the portal, and I'm going to explain the portal as well. Because right now, whether he knew it or not, and he probably didn't, you got to understand the Four of Clubs are a little aloof. We're kind of aloof. We get on our zones. Like, you can come in and I could be sitting in my house and I'm working, and you could say 20 words to me and I still might not even know you're there. Right. So we kind of disconnect like that. So I'm sure on the stage, he's disconnecting. He's getting into his Jack of Spades, which is his different personalities and his what do you call it, altars. That's what the Jack of Spades is. He has that in Venus, so he's getting into his whatever. But what I saw when I saw him, and when I always see him, is Anubis, right? So I talked to you, and I mentioned that I was going to talk about Anubis, because who Anubis was is the one that ushers you over to the other side, right? So he has this portal, and people pointed out to see you on the other side, right? And I didn't see that when I was all on the Anubis tip, and I'm going to tell you why I got on Anubis. Is I didn't see that. Someone tagged me to that, and they showed me that portal says see you on the other side, right? So let's get to the Canary Islands. Well, the Canary Islands, people see the word canary, so they think canary like birds. Actually, the Canary Islands etymology points back to Canai, which is dog, like canis, right? So the Canary Islands are 8 major islands, and the main island, this was called the Island of the Dogs, the Isle of Dogs, right?
Wow.
Now, even one of the islands that's there is populated with dogs. Like, there's dogs everywhere, right? So this is an ancient set of islands, and it was once populated by the Egyptians that were devoted to Anubis, right? So this is Anubis's island right here, the Canary Islands.
Okay.
Now, dogs are a king of spades in cardology, and that's the twin to the Two of Clubs, right? Interestingly, we got a very famous Two of Clubs that is really, really blowing up right now, especially because of the Metaverse, and that's Snoop Doggy Dogg, who is a Two of Clubs. He's a Two of Clubs. All over the internet, we're talking about dog coins. We're talking about Dogecoin. She knew, I can never say
Shiba Inu.
Shiba Inu. And every other legion of dog coins after it. We're talking about the dog all over, everywhere, right? So how cardology works is I'm able to pinpoint the energy of the words that are being used. Like these words turn out to be clues to what's going on right now, and they point to major events. So you have so many things right now that are pointing to the dog, and this is the dog island. Okay. So we're in, as I said, every dog has its day. And if you look at Travis Scott, he resembles Anubis.
Anubis, yeah, he does, yeah.
He has that same look that Snoop has.
That Snoop has with the braids, with the braids.
With the dog look.
And he keeps it. He doesn't change it. He keeps it.
Exactly. So he has that look. But there's a lot of significant things going on with him. He has a lot of corporate power behind him. He was on the cover of Forbes. You know, he was on Forbes. And I posted an article for Forbes that called him the corporate whisperer. Hip hop's biggest icon becomes the corporate whisperer. So what that means is they're using him to, you know, put out brand information. You know, the corporates are using him. He's like probably one of the biggest influencers right now. You know, and a lot of people,
he got McDonald's commercials and shit like that.
Exactly. And the reason being is because this year in the United States cardology chart, he sits in the Jupiter Magi position. So do I. We're 4 clubs. We sit in the Jupiter Magi position. So for me, Jupiter is teaching, because that's what I do, you know, and teaching. For him, it's this corporate power that he's having right now. So he's dealing with lessons around greed. When is enough enough? When is too much too much? Okay, so that's on his personal spiritual level. That's what he's dealing with. You know, he's 29. He just got into his Saturn return. You know, he's just now growing up. He was still a kid. So I'm not going to say that he's just consciously, willingly participating in some demonic rituals and all that, because I don't believe in all of that. I believe that spirit is higher than everything. And because of cardology, you can see how it's not just people planning this stuff. It's the universe, like the universe, numeric time stuff. You can't, these people, I don't give these people that much credit. Yes. You know what I mean? Like it's so perfectly timed. How are you going to perfectly time this, perfectly time that? And these people, no, they're not that. They're not there. That's not where they are. This is universal timing that's going on, right? So you're looking at right there, you're seeing a volcano, erupting. Overseas, the volcano is erupting. And now we get to New York, right? So New York is a 2 of clubs. New York is a 2 of clubs, right? So what you got going on with New York is earlier September, hurricane season, you had Hurricane Ida. Ida is an ace of spades. Ida, that's the karma card to the 2 of clubs. No one expected Ida to take such a shift and make such an impact on New York. It was freak. It was like, where the hell did that come from? Right? It did its damage, but it was like an in and out kind of thing, because it was a warning. It was a precursor. We always have warnings and precursors. You know, so that's why we do these sciences. It's like, what's the point of having these sciences when we're not going to look at the warnings that they're giving us? You know? So currently we got Saturn in Aquarius, right? Jupiter is in the lot, going out of the last degrees of Aquarius. Guess what the sign of deluges, big floods, and tsunamis? Guess what sign rules that?
What?
Everybody, people are going to say Pisces, Cancer, Aquarius. Aquarius rules floods, big floods, deluges, because all different archetypes that are associated with Aquarius came out of flood eras. Like, I can't remember this guy's name, so I had to write it down. I'm really bad at remembering names these days. But Prometheus's son, I think his name is Deucalion, right? He's a figure that's associated with Aquarius. The story of Prometheus's son is that Zeus was in love with him. So when the gods sent the floods down to earth, Zeus tipped him off, right? So he got tipped off and he was able to survive the flood, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have the symbol of Aquarius, which is the water bearer.
Mm-hmm.
But people always, you see, they get confused when they see Aquarius. It's like, why is it an air sign? And they're holding a bucket of water, you know? And Aquarius sits in an area of the sky that's known as the dark sea. It's surrounded by the whale, the fish, all water creatures.
Wow.
Right? So Aquarius is heavily associated with water. Heavily associated with water. And not just water, but floods and deluges. So what you have right now is you have Saturn going through Aquarius, and pretty soon you're going to have Pluto coming into Aquarius. And that happens, I think, in like 2023. Mm-hmm. Right? So what I'm seeing happening, a word that keeps coming up also in cardology, which is a 5 of club, is Atlantis. Atlantis is the word that keeps surfacing, right? Mm-hmm. And from my studies, what I'm thinking is what they thought was Atlantis, or what we thought was Atlantis is the past, is really the future. And is really where we are right now in the beginning of the world that's going to be Atlantis.
So Atlantis, you're saying Atlantis never happened. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
See, that's some different shit there, man. I mean, wow. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all this. First of all, I just want to thank everybody. We got over 1,000 people in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm live right now with Aquarius Maximus. I just want to say this before you form your opinion. If you remember the last time the Queen Aquarius Maximus was on the show, she told me about New York being flooded. And within 5 minutes, I turned around and my basement was being flooded. It was,
we was in a zone.
I've never experienced that level of I don't know if synchronicity is the word or coincidence or whatever you want to call it, but a person says something thousands of miles away, then literally within 5 minutes, you experience what that person just said. After that, I was like, yo, when this sister right here, this queen says something, I ain't gonna doubt her. I'm all ears. I'm never ever. It was live. I'm not bullshitting. You could go to our last video. It was live. Like it happened live. So I just had to say that, put that out there. But go ahead, continue, because this is getting real interesting. You said Atlantis never happened. Atlantis is getting ready to happen. But continue.
Absolutely. So you have global, they're talking about global warming, they're talking about the waters rising, they're talking about all of this stuff. You know what I mean? The waters rising, all this other stuff. Yeah. And again, all of this is playing out. Now they're talking about the metaverse.
Yes.
So interestingly, guess who was the first hip hop artist to perform in the metaverse? Big name artist.
Snoop?
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. Wow. Okay. Wow.
Travis Scott, about 2 years ago, he had a huge concert in the metaverse. Mm-hmm. You know, so Travis Scott has an 8 of spades in Pluto. And the 8 of spades is the card that I associate with the metaverse, like whatever you think in the metaverse is. And that's also Facebook's card, by the way. Facebook's card is an 8 of spades. So I wouldn't doubt that he's been kind of tapped to be like the portal or the spokesperson to get people to come into Facebook's metaverse. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't doubt that there's not a lot of money behind him that are ushering people in through to that reality. But mm-hmm. where we are right now is we're on the birth of different realities. We're on the birth of new realities. Mm-hmm. And one reality is water everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So we got water and we got technology. Two of the big things that Atlantis is associated with. We have that right now. We're literally at the doorway of that right now. So it's almost as if we've created that reality. This is the reality that we're creating, and this is what's manifesting right now, is this water world, like someone said there, and the metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
So, and interestingly, we were talking about 8, and we're talking about the 8 of spades. Well, the La Palma Islands are 8 major islands. So it's 8 major islands off the coast of Africa that have been here since antiquity. They were created when the crust split for Pangea. They were instantly created. These islands here, and they're like watching. They're like watcher islands to where we are right now. So on different levels, there are so many things happening, right? One of the things that the United States has in its cards is it has a 7 of diamonds in Neptune. So I told people, I said, this represents the wealth being washed underwater, right? The wealth underwater. So which wealth is that? So I've been directly pointing to Wall Street. You know, a lot of people have been pointing to the crash coming in Wall Street. Well, what about the literal crash? What about the literal washing of Wall Street, or Wall Street disappearing under the water? That's how deep this is. That's where we are right now. You know what I mean? Literally, we are on the verge of this extraordinary deep things. I was having a conversation with my mom. So the tsunami in 2004, I know everybody remembers that, Indonesia, took place in a 6 of Hearts year, right? 2013, the second largest flood event in recent times, another 6 of Hearts year, occurred in India and Colorado simultaneously. So India had another major flood in 2013, and Colorado had the Colorado floods in 2013. The next 6 of Hearts year is next year. 2022 is the next 6 of Hearts year. Right? So what's so super significant about this year, aside from the fact it's a 6 of Hearts year and major floods take place in 6 of Hearts years, is that the fact is the Pluto return of the United States. You know what I mean? Literally, there's so much convergence of powerful energy taking place next year. You know, so I know everybody's like, dang, another year. They're like, oh, we done dealt with the COVID in 2019, and then we deal with Delta COVID in 2020, and now we're going to deal with, 2020, 21. Now we're going to deal with flood. You know, it's like, what else? But again, we're recreating our world. Like, the world is being reshaped by our emotions.
I say that all the time.
The world is being shaped by our emotions. It's a direct result of our emotions. Absolutely. If we weren't as emotionally volatile as we are right now, wouldn't be a thing going on in nature, in the world. But because we are very emotionally volatile, the world is responding to our emotions. You know, this 2 of Clubs energy, which is Uranus to the United States right now, 2 of Clubs energy is very violent. So what you've seen is violence, an uptick of violence, an uptick of shootings and killings. And it seemed like the 90s again, right? Well, guess what? In the early 90s, hip hop was a 2 of Clubs in the early 90s. In the early 90s, the Jack of Clubs, which is the card for hip hop, was in its 2 of Clubs phase. And that's when Biggie was killed. And that's when Tupac was killed. And that was the East Coast versus the West Coast. And there was violence, and there was drive-bys, and there was all kind of craziness that took place. Right? And now you have an echo of that. And then what happened last week? Drug kingpin, blah, 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 killed in a drive-by, and all of this other stuff. It's like a repeat of all that energy, that 2 of Clubs energy taking place all over again, because that's how volatile that energy is. And that volatile energy makes us push out more energy. So it's going to uptick. It's going to get faster and faster. It's just like we're adding that into what's going on galactically. it's only spelling a huge healing that has to take place via water.
You know, it's funny, Aquarius Maximus, that you say the world is being shaped by our emotions. And I talk about it often on my show. I just did a broadcast that dealt with it. But one thing I said, a blue pill, I posed the question. I said, what if we all know how emotional Black people are? For 2-3 years, we constantly chanted, "I can't breathe." Then all of a sudden, COVID comes around, and everybody's complaining about breathing. Everybody's having lung issues. So I'm like, did our negative mantra, "I can't breathe," I wonder how much effect did that have on this reality that we're currently experiencing? You know what I'm saying?
Well, think about it like this. We can't, when can't you breathe? You can't breathe when you're underwater, right? Your lungs are being transformed. You can thank COVID for that. All of your internal organs, everything, even if you only had COVID and you were asymptomatic, your lungs and everything is being transformed so that you can breathe underwater.
That's deep. What the fuck? I gotta. What the fuck? Our lungs are purposely being transformed so we could breathe underwater. That's what you say?
Yes.
Shit. Go ahead. I'm good.
We are becoming water beings. This is becoming a water planet. And it's not something that typically happens overnight, but you best believe generations down the line, they will be breathing. They will be able to live underwater.
Damn. So even when we think something is a conspiracy, the divine is really behind that conspiracy, because there's a bigger plan.
There's a bigger plan. There's no greater plan than the plan of the universe, of the Most High. There's no greater plan. Everything falls within that plan. Someone noted that pneumonia is drowning. That's what it is. You're drowning. And I just survived it. Double pneumonia in both my lungs.
Yeah. Wow.
So what you will have now is you'll have a lot of people dreaming about water, getting into swimming, wanting to learn how to swim, wanting to dig deep down into the water, getting involved in water sports, all of these different things, because this is where we're moving into. We're moving into a water world.
Do you have any recommendations in terms of
learn how to swim?
Point blank.
Put your kids in swim class. You get in swim class. Learn how to swim like your life depends on it.
Do you see there's always these maps, these futuristic maps. You say Atlantis is in the future of America being split by water. Do you see the country?
Yes, the water is the land is going to get split, and a lot of the outer lying land is going to be underwater.
Like the land that's on the coast, like
coastland, Florida, New Orleans, all of these places. And the Mississippi River is going to open up. That's the Nile in America. I mean, we all know that. It's like the spiritual Nile is going to open up. There's going to be all types of agriculture that builds up along the Nile, and more of us are going to migrate in these inner places, from Georgia all the way up into up the quote unquote the new Nile.
Well, you know, one thing Bobby said probably about 20 years ago, Bobby said Atlanta is going to be the new Atlantis. What do you think about it?
It is Atlantis. Absolutely. I talked about that earlier in my live. A lot of people underestimate Stone Mountain. Stone Mountain is the world's largest exposed crystal.
The world's largest
exposed crystal.
Stone Mountain.
Yes, it is. It's a crystal. Why do you think that they wanted to do that? We're going to take over the world ritual on top of Stone Mountain.
That's where the Confederates is at, right?
Try to carve the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse on the belly of Stone Mountain and couldn't get to number 4.
Yeah.
Stone Mountain is very, very, very important. I call it Crystal City. I've been calling it that for years.
Wow. Shit.
I've been calling it that for years. It's Crystal City. People come here. What do? Y'all climb Stone Mountain to get re-energized, to start the next phase of your life. It is a crystal.
This conversation, it feels like it feels like I'm not even talking to somebody who's human right now. It feels like I'm in a dream, and some alien, some spirit is just telling me what's about to happen, and is giving me, like, family. I think that this conversation is very important, and that let's not take this for granted. And then when we hear the talking heads on CNN repeat some of these things, then we take this serious. Like I said, some things she said in the past, I mean, it has come to fruition. Wow, this is an interesting conversation. So a Stone Mountain, and you call it Crystal City. You're saying that's the world's largest exposed crystal. So what about you know how they say America's Egypt is really Egypt? What about places like Memphis, where you get the same name in Egypt? What about places like that? What do you think?
You get the same name because they're on the same energetic frequencies of those places. They're sitting on the same numeric values of those places. They have identical, energy compositions, so it's just like if I'm the same card, like I said, I'm the same card as Travis Scott. We have a similar energy composition. You know what I mean? So if I build my place where I am, and he builds a place where he is, the places that we build are going to be very similar.
Energetically.
Right, because we are the same number. We're the same number, and I'm pretty sure brother, the numerator can appreciate what I'm saying, but there are numbers down to micro levels of numbers. You have numbers, you have a numeric composition that might be trillions of numbers long, and that has to be broken. That can be broken down to, and that's what we do in cardology. That's why cardology has been so significant, because it's been able to break down numerical computations down to a minimum, so that you can understand what it means. You know what I mean? So you don't need a calculator to try to figure out what this energy is. It fits in this composite. I'm a data scientist. I do data. What we do is we take uncategorized data and we make it categorized. So we take data that doesn't seem like it has anything to do with each other, and bring it together and show you what the similarities is, so it can make sense to you. So that's really what a data scientist does. Takes data and brings it together in a way that can make sense to you. And that's what cardology does. It takes data, like all types of data, numerical, compositions and stuff like that of people, and it brings it together in a way that it's brought down to a level, the number 52, and there are other sciences that have it, like the Odus. Wow, my power just went out.
Hey,
Oh, no. That was my lamp.
Oh, okay.
That's still on here, I think. Yeah. No, my power's still on. My lamp just went out.
Okay.
You see that? My lamp just went out.
I mean, I mean, hey.
I didn't do that. I must got a spirit in the house, right?
Yeah.
But absolutely. We take with the Odu are 256 in number. What else is 256? Binary. The whole computer system is built off of ancient African sciences. The system of zeros and ones and binary comes out of Africa. So, we're getting back to that point now. We're raising ourselves to this technological level. We're here. The internet brought us here. So we're here. So we're ready now. And we're taking this to the fullest extreme. We're reshaping this world into what we want it to be. And to be real, we probably feel most comfortable in water, because that's where we are when we're in the womb. Before we come out into the world, we're in water. And that's where we remember peace and protection and all of those things that we don't have when we came into the chaos of air.
So you're associating air with chaos, would you say? Is that?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about it like this too. America is a Cancer. There's a reason that that Declaration of Independence was signed during the season of Cancer. You know what I mean? So it's a Cancer. This is a water constant. We're ushering in this new age of water.
Family, I want to take a couple of questions. I mean, this is wow, such an interesting show, thought-provoking, and a show that you think about once it's done. Like, you're gonna go off in your own space and just really think about what the Queen said. Give me some questions, family. I want to get some questions from the people. I know everybody is definitely curious about what's going on and what's going to happen in the future. Give me some questions for the Queen Aquarius Maximus. Before we do that, sis, tell them information about cardology. If they want a cardology report, how can they contact you to get that?
They can go on my website, AquariusMaximus.com. And right now I've been focusing on a lot of 2022 forecasts. And I actually have a 2022 forecast and calendar. So you can that would probably be your best bet if you want to get in on that, because I'm not doing as many readings as I used to because I'm super busy. But I do have this 2022 forecast. You can go to AquariusMaximus.com /2022. And you can order that 2022 forecast and calendar. When that comes out, you'll have a calendar that will tell you, different highlights and points and energetic points for 2022, that you can, kind of schedule your life around. Because even though all of this is coming, I want you to know that you still have a destiny. You still have stuff to achieve. Right. You still have a personal destiny. You still have personal successes. You still have an opportunity for success. Because as though this may be an ending, it's also a new beginning. You have to focus on a new beginning.
So what do you think about, and I forgot whose show I did this with, but I talked about the concept and the idea of embracing. I was with King Simon, matter of fact, embracing this year, because they said the Great Reset 2020 was year 0, embracing this year as year 1, and then I guess next year will be year 2. So instead of going by the 2020 something, we begin to embrace this year as year 1. What do you think about that concept?
That's dope. I think it's dope. And I think the idea that it may be year 2 does really mesh with the 6th year in the Gregorian, because the 6th year is the 6 of hearts. And it's all about the restoration of relationships, bringing people from the past back together, bringing past lives people back together, bringing you together with your soul families. That's what this whole decade is about. Right. This is the 4 Hearts decade. This decade is about bringing you back to your nation, creating a nation building, and all of that. So although things may be seeming like they're falling apart, there are nations of people who are going to come together after this.
Wow, this is some interesting times, where these are some truly interesting times. Let's get to a couple of questions, family. Sometimes y'all ask, I don't know if it's a question or a comment. Okay, here we go. Which technology do you see being most dominant next year?
Which technology being most dominant? Well, definitely anything to do with sustainable technology, anything that makes sustainable living better. That these are hot things. So you're talking about any technology that deals with the preservation of the earth. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of money being pumped into sustainability. And I mean, I know you just seen Elon Musk talk about, he had been talking about sustainability and, what he wants to do with his billions and stuff like that. So there is a lot of money going in sustainability. So if you have anything to do with sustainability at this point, or anything about maintaining or adding to the earth, because we're talking about earth-based sciences, the 10 of spades, we're talking about anything that deals with the earth, and that also includes mining, believe it or not, because currently I'm talking to lots of people who want to do things with gold, who want to do things with silver. And I'm not talking about your typical things. I'm talking about advanced things that they want to be able to do with gold and with silver, etc. So coming up with better ways of doing that don't kill people, because mining in its current state kills people. Those things are along lines of where we're going. And then, of course, the metaverse. You see that building worlds, build a world. Don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated by, the idea of a metaverse and building your own world and thinking that you have to be a supreme engineer to do it. That's not the case. Tap in, join into groups, join into discords, etc., and see what they're doing, see what type of innovations out there, because we need to be building worlds. I'm building a metaverse right now, by the way, as well. But we need to be building worlds because we don't need to get sucked into another world via the social media platforms that we're on right now. That's just an on-ramp right now to the metaverse that Facebook is building.
Yes.
And Facebook, we already know, is about control. I think that with kind of Facebook got off key is once they started involving the corporations, now they have to stay closed source. He has no choice. Zuckerberg is a prisoner of his own creation.
Crazy, right?
Yeah, he's a prisoner. Crazy. It's sad because he's created so many corporate ties and stuff like that. He owes them, just like a celebrity,
or a politician
signs their life away. He signed his life away. He owes them, so he has to keep things closed and controlled. So that's not where you want to be. You want to be in the open source. You want to be in the open metaverse. You want to be a part of that movement, and it's real. You know what I mean? So I would say don't be afraid because of what he says. He doesn't own the metaverse,
right?
That metaverse. A metaverse is a metaverse that you can create, or you can be a part of your family's metaverse that they create. So you got to be thinking along those lines as well, because in the meantime, this transition going over to this water world is going to be rocky. I'm not going to lie to you about that part.
Right.
It's going to be rocky, so during that time, you're going to want to have greater ways of communicating and coming together with other people.
Lo-Fi wants to know, do the aliens want Earth's water?
I'm on the fence about aliens. My idea, because I know about astral travels and spirit stuff and stuff like that, my thoughts is many of the beings that people thought were aliens are just time travelers from the future. The idea was introduced to me a long time ago, and I didn't believe it myself. I was like, oh no, I was really into aliens before. I said, no, that can't be. And you'd be surprised who it was that told me that. It was something in the Nation of Islam that told me that. You know what I mean? Like, nah, they ain't aliens, they time travelers. I was arguing with them like, no, they're from this planet, whatever. But now that I know what I know and my brain is growing the way it has grown, I would definitely agree that a lot of the beings that people spoke about were beings that came from the future.
Okay. Yeah, you on this the beings from the future, Atlantis is from the future. That's such a interesting perspective that for some reason resonates with my DNA. So I definitely want to.
You got to look at all of the alterations we're making to our bodies. Like, we're literally turning ourselves into something that you got people that are getting eye surgery and certain stuff into their head. They're, doing all this. So you got people that look like aliens now.
Right now, yeah.
Surgery that they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. You got women that are shrinking their waist to this and their, hips to this. And it no longer looks, like it looks now. It looks like it could be something futuristic. You know what I mean? So we're becoming all different types of humans just by altering ourselves. So can you imagine decades down the line how that's going to translate to our DNA?
Wow. Okay. Yeah, like I said, this is one of the more interesting conversations I had this year. No, definitely, hands down. Alchemy Goddess wants to know, can you speak about transhumanism?
I don't. Honestly, I don't know a lot about that. And I'll be the first to tell you what I don't know. I sometimes spend a lot of times in my own microcosmic world knowing what I know and studying what I know. But you sparked something in me, so I probably will look into it. But no, I don't know a lot about that.
Okay. Is it wise to own land significantly above sea level due to the future flooding?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Until we begin to tame the ocean, until we really know how to exist in the ocean, you want to make use of the land that we do have. And there's plenty of it. You know what I mean? There's land out there. So we want to make use of that land because we're going to have to eat off of that land.
Well, let me ask you this, Aquarius Maximus. Question that just came to my mind. You said our lungs are being transformed because of everything we're doing right now to exist underwater. So what about the people who don't wear no mask, who aren't doing what the rest of the 90% of the population is doing? Are our lungs being transformed? Because we don't wear masks, we don't do this, we don't do that. Everybody else is doing it, so they're breathing differently. So is our lungs going to be different from the people who wear masks, their lungs?
I would say so. I mean, think about it. One of the things I realized that, as I'm monitoring my oxygen level in the hospital, my oxygen level definitely wasn't where it was supposed to be, and my lungs are not where they were prior to me going into the hospital. So I'm taking in less. My lungs are different. They're taking in less O2. You know what I mean? So, where are they getting that from? One of the things that has also happened to me is, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge water drinker, but I'm drinking water like it ain't nobody's business these days. I have
Right.
cases of water all of a sudden, and I'm just popping water like it's drugs. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I don't know what that is about. And I haven't delved, super deep into it. But I have Saturn and Cancer natally. So definitely issues around water and dealing with water. So I'm looking at water differently. I have the urge to learn deep sea diving, deep scuba diving. I had an incident last year during the pandemic. I went to Mexico and got dropped off, drove a speedboat out into the middle of the ocean and got dropped off in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know how that happened, but we went out there to go scuba diving and all that other stuff I never did in my life. I wasn't even trained to do it. You know what I mean? And found myself down there underwater. And I feel drawn to having to have that ability, having to even dive even deeper to see what's down there. So I would suggest, like I said before, definitely get into swimming for real. Like you got to, you have to. You got to get just comfortable with water. You know what I mean? Like seriously, and your kid's gonna take to it like nobody's business. That's why I'm seeing all these celebrities now. I told you, celebrities are like I said before, and I was here. They're the windows to the stars. They're the windows to what's going on. So now all you see is these celebrities, and as soon as they pop a baby out, they throw them right in the pool.
Right.
So you see all these little celebrity babies, even black babies. Like you didn't see black babies swimming like that before. You see all these little celebrity babies to throw them right in the pool. You know what I mean? And they're swimming. So do that. Definitely do that. Now the mask is more symbolic. You know what I mean? It's like the veil. You know what I mean? It's more symbolic than it is real, like really doing anything. It's more symbolic. Symbolism is serious. Symbolism does some very, very psychological reprogramming. You know what I mean? So the idea of the mask is like really living in your own single solitary space. Almost like you got a helmet on when you're in space, and this is where you're breathing out of. It's being in your own space. So it's like you're going to be taken on this inner journey, whether you like it or not. You're going to be forced to deal with within you. You're going to be forced to take your space back. You know what I mean? And really, really learn and understand that everything that occurs with you is you, and you create your own world. So it's this idea of separating ourselves from everyone else. The 6 feet, the what do you call it? The social distancing, the mask. It's all a part of getting back into yourself. And a lot of people did that during this time and are doing that in this time. It's psychological. You know what I mean? And it's very effective because some people, if it weren't for things like COVID, if it weren't for things like masks, they would never stop the things that they're doing to take the time to address themselves and to grow and cultivate themselves.
No, indeed. Let's get to the next question. Do you bump into other astral travelers while astro traveling?
All the time. All the time.
I want to hear about this. Tell us about it.
All the time. I like to do a fun thing with the cards. The cards in Neptune represent the places that you go, the people you can see. So I was an astral traveler as a child. As a child, I went many places, many different worlds, met many different people. I used to meet Prince all the time. Seriously. I have a 10 of diamonds in Neptune, and that's Prince's card. And when I was a little kid, like I didn't know anything about anything. I want to be your lover or anything. I used to bump into Prince, you know what I mean, on the astral plane. So I used to, when I was younger, I was better at it because I would create my target of where I wanted to go. As a kid, like you don't care. You'd be like, I want to go here. I lived in Brooklyn. I lived in a small apartment in New York, in Brooklyn, and I felt trapped. I felt like there was so many people and I couldn't go anywhere. The only place I could go was inside. So yeah, I used to figure out where I wanted to go, who I wanted to meet, and I would go and I would meet them. One of my experiences, my godmother recorded it, and she actually started writing a book about it because she recorded me talking about my experience traveling to ancient Egypt, and going down underground and meeting with priestesses and them giving me the secrets to manifesting on earth. I mean, all different things, so lots of astral traveling is the bomb, and I think that the reason why a lot of us don't do it as much as we should is because we don't give ourselves enough time to even go to bed anymore. We work 24/7. So we don't go to sleep at night, and we don't have time to do that. So we're definitely not going to have time to do any astral traveling. But it's very, very important that you balance your life out with this stuff because it's going to expand you. There's a lot of information and downloads, and there's a lot of things you can learn. I was told in my astral travels that this is the original library. This is where you learn stuff.
Ooh. What you said? Hold up. You said this? What do you mean, Earth?
The astral traveling was the original library.
That's the library.
You wanted to go and you wanted to find out about something, you would travel there.
So we created a library on Earth, but it's just trying to emulate what you can do in astral travel.
Nowhere near being able to zone in on a place and go there and actually gain the information you wanted to know and bring it back.
So this level of astral traveling that you're able to do, because we're entering this water age, is everybody going to be on that frequency?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of people do it, unconsciously. But when you do it unconsciously, you don't get an opportunity to get the information back. You know what I mean? Like you just kind of slip there and you're so stunned at where you are, that it's like, oh, it's just a dream. But astral travelers, we want to take notes. We want to get the information back. We want to ask questions, so that we can bring it back to the other side and tell everybody.
Indeed. Yo, you truly have a younger spirit. I'm real intuitive. I wonder if it's because of what you went through. You're exhibiting a younger spirit. I gotta tell. I don't know if anybody.
It's funny you said that because it was just a couple of days ago. I was like, wow, I do feel like I got younger. I look.
You look younger.
Like I look younger.
You look younger. Yeah.
I swear to you.
You look younger, and you're acting. You're acting younger.
So probably one of my altars. I have a Jack of Spades, just like Travis Scott. Probably, I might have died in that hospital, and one of my altars is taken over. You know what I mean? So that's how it is.
Wow. Let's get to them. We're gonna take about 5 more questions that we're gonna get out of here. This is what I want to do, family. I got 1,500 people in here. I advise every one of you, 1,500 of you, to get a reading from this queen right here. If she's telling us all of this, if we're amazed by what she's saying, if she predicted a flood on the last show she did with me, which came true within 5 minutes, why wouldn't we? We invest in so many. Why wouldn't we get a reading? I got my cardology reading. It was amazing. So I advise everybody, real quick, tell them the information to get that reading, Queen, before we continue.
Definitely get that 2022.
Yes.
AquariusMaximus.com/2022. And get that calendar so you can be prepared for 2022. Seriously. I do have classes. I am going to be launching Cardology Academy soon. That's what I love to do. My moon is in Sagittarius. I'm a teacher. I love teaching and I love teaching classes. So I want to teach this. I want other people to be able to take advantage of this science, because cardology is ours and it does wonders. It is our data science. So get it seriously, because when I see what we can do with this, and potentially what we can do with this, it's going to change our lives, really.
All right. Yeah, I'm excited. What will Crystal Scott wants to know, what will daily life be like in this new water world?
Well, I think that we're going to be eased into this. You know what I mean? It's definitely going to be a transformation, but I mean, it's beautiful. Like being able to ultimately go to another world. See, we've been talking about going to another world, but what if that other world is beneath the sea? You know, like we've been talking about going to other planets, but there's a whole world beneath the sea that we don't know anything about. You know, our spirits, our ancestors used to talk about beings that lived in the water.
Yes.
You know, they used to talk about stories. We were the first people to talk about mermaids. We were the first people to talk about water spirits and things that lived in the water. There's a whole world down there that we know nothing about. Nothing.
Telling you. King Simon says, study Aquaman.
Yes, that's one of my favorite. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's a beautiful mix of technology and water. That's where we're headed.
Let's get to the next question. I just seen something and now it dissipated. The chat is okay. I guess somebody sent a super chat. Shout out to Cannon for the $2 super chat. Cannon wants to know, how can Virgo energy play a role? Okay, I'm a Virgo, so I'm interested in this. All right.
Well, you know, Virgo is the refiner, the thing that makes things refined. You know, we could not exist without Virgo, because Virgo is going to make a clear path. It's going to make things refined. It is a higher octave of Mercury. You got your Gemini, which is your playful, mental, and you got your Virgo, which is about business. The card that I associate with Virgo is the King of Spades, the God card. So everything that you know about God is Virgo. You know, literally. And that's the rule. We talk about the King of Spades, right? And in the grand solar spreads in cardology, the King of Spades sits in the Vulcan position, the planet Vulcan. So if you think about Vulcan, you think about Dr. Spock, right?
Yes.
You think about, let's not deal with emotion right now. Let's deal with logic. So it deals with the logical mind, which is very, very important. That's like our heritage is a mixture of the logical and the emotional mind. And our emotional mind has been triggered and manipulated and played with for over 400 years. That's what the grand experiment has been. But we have a very, very vibrant logical mind as well. And I think that we're starting to realize that about ourselves. We're starting to see that when we started calling ourselves God, we started evoking that Virgo energy. We really did.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yo, I can have like a 4-hour conversation with you about some stuff, man. Wow. I mean, yeah. Family, get that reading. Get that reading from the Queen. Let's get to another question. Yeah, I see a lot of comments. Comments.
Somebody actually mentioned Vulcan and the moon. Yeah,
Somebody said
that's a good marriage. Yeah.
Didn't we start as nomad? Yeah.
Nomads. Are you referring to like a nomad, like that moves across the world? Are you talking about what are they called? There was a group of beings that lived in the water, but I forgot exactly what they're called.
Yeah, elaborate on that question, Chris Scott, and we'll come back to you. In the meantime, Donnie wants to know, will we become crystallized beings in this lifetime?
I think that Interestingly, there's definitely going to be a lot of leaps where there already has, because I think that COVID has sped us up tremendously. Honestly, I think we took a
When you say sped us
COVID.
up, what do you mean by sped us up? Talk to me about that.
Evolutionary. Evolution. I've talked to other people who have had it, and the how they feel different and how they are reacting different. I had a conversation with a person after I came out of what I came out of. There are people who came to me and was like, you can expect this to happen, this to happen, this to happen. Yeah, it was almost like body snatchers. I was like, really? I was like, but I definitely see it. It definitely changes us on a molecular level. We're being changed. A lot of y'all don't realize that COVID changes your organs. It restructures your organs. They said it. You can read it in the thing that it has restructured organs, and it doesn't stop with when you get COVID. It doesn't go away. Interestingly, I developed something going on with my olfact with these nerves up here. Almost totally disintegrated. Wow. Seriously. So I ride a bike, I ride a motorcycle. So now when I ride the motorcycle, I really got to cover my nose because the air it irritates me so bad. The air, once that air hits me, because these right here are damaged. So I only have about 30% of my smell, but I can still taste. Wow. Yeah, I can still taste, but I only have like a very small percentage of my smell. So it's kind of indicating that these nerves up here are damaged, right? So it's like, this is the first part that COVID goes up into. And this is the part that you're going to interface with the air and you're going to interface with the water. So what is it doing to reconstruct this so that you need less air? You know what I mean? Like, too much air is irritating now to me, but I need less air, and I don't even have to smell that much. I can't smell anything, but I can taste.
This is interesting. I've never talked to a person who got COVID to this extent. You talk to people, but they're kind of dead consciously, so they could tell you but so much. So to hear it from a sister who's on an elevated level and hearing you explain it the way you explain it, it's something that I think you need to tell your story out there. Like I'm sure you have, but it's very interesting. Wow.
It is very interesting. What I went through is extremely interesting. I mean, I've never been, I honestly, I'd never been through anything like that. I never even seen people really go through like that. I kind of been sheltered from suffering in my life. So to be there and to be experiencing that, I was in the hospital for 10 days. So yeah, so it was a pretty long time, but not once that, I think that I was going to go, die or anything like that. But it was a form of death that I went through. It definitely was a death. It was, when I got out of the hospital, it felt like my whole spirit just kind of gone. My body was heavy, but I lost a ton of weight, but my body was so heavy. Like, everything was so heavy. I couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't even lift myself. And then all of a sudden, this new spirit, this new energy came, and I just felt vibrant again. Like, I just felt alive. And I was like, wow, I think that the extra suffering that takes place with COVID is fear and anxiety. People have been dying from fear. They've been dying from anxiety and fear. So one of the things that I told them when I got in here, I said, hey, can you give me some anxiety meds? I've never taken anxiety drugs in my life, but I took anxiety drugs when I was there. I said, give me something for anxiety. And they gave me something for anxiety, and that was it. Because I didn't want to have to suffer the panic. People panic in there. And when they panic, of course, you can't breathe, and your oxygen level drops. The next thing you know, you're in ICU, and your breathing degrades even more. And then they're trying to put you on a ventilator. I lost 2 friends in the last couple of weeks, that lost them completely. They went in and went directly into ICU, but I know the level of fear you experience when you first get in there, and the idea that you can't breathe, like you move and you can't breathe, or you get up and you can't breathe. It's like you're drowning. Literally, that's what it feels like. You're drowning.
Wow. Wow. That's all I can say as well. Oh, so GL wants to know, there was talk of travel to Mars last year. Was that a distraction?
I think that everybody, these people, they have a lot of money and they don't have anything better to do. That's what I think. So it's like, what I can spend my money. I'm gonna spend my money going on trying to get out of here. Everybody's different people are trying to get out of here because some people can't deal with change. Some people can't deal with the fact that this egalitarian, this energy is coming in to restore balance and order and bring people out of the slavery that they've been in for so long. There's people who can't deal with that because they don't know what the process looks like. The process is very chaotic. People are scared. You know what I mean? Mars is a god of war. So you know that if somebody's trying to go to Mars, they're trying to get yoked up for a war. You know what I mean? You don't pick Mars as a planet to go if you just want to be nice.
Right.
You know, you pick Mars because you wanna start some shit.
Okay. We're gonna do two more, Bob. This is an amazing conversation, amazing interview. Shout out to everybody in the chat. This is classic material. We're gonna do two more questions and then we're gonna get out of here, family. All right. Audie, since you gave a donation, I'm gonna I'm gonna let Aquarius Maximus talk about your birthday. She got a personal question. I'm a jack of hearts. Anything I should concern myself with? Her birthday is 8/28.
Jacks are messengers.
Okay.
Right? You're a jack of hearts. You're a messenger of love. You know, think Drake. So everybody likes to make fun of Drake when he makes the heart songs and the this song and that songs, but that he is doing the ultimate he's being the ultimate representation of a jack of hearts. And he's being rewarded by the universe with it. You know what I mean? For doing that. But that's what you're here for. You're here to heal hearts. You know, you're here to help people elevate to a higher consciousness and a higher state of heart being. That's why a lot of Jack of Hearts work with kids. You know, that's the card of daycares. You know, so kids in their raw form and in their raw love and their unconditional love and loving you regardless, right? And you're here to take and translate that love into a message that people can understand. Because people are going to need you right now. These are the type of energies that people are going to need. You're willing to make a sacrifice for others. You know what I mean? Not too many people are willing to sacrifice themselves for others. You are some of the few that are willing to sacrifice themselves for others. So people are going to need you. But your lesson is balance. You don't want to become a martyr. You don't want to kill yourself sacrificing yourself for others. There's a way that you can give and not take from yourself. And that's what you're here on a path to learn. You're here to learn how can you give without taking from yourself.
That's deep. How can you give without taking from yourself? Wow. Okay, that's some excellent advice. I think a lot of us could use. All right, this is the last question, family, before we get out of here. I mean, amazing show. Which technique, Jessica wants to know, which technique, normal prayer, candle magician, law of attraction work best in this age?
Sound.
Talk to me. What do you mean?
Chanting. It's probably the most powerful thing you can do. Because you'll be altering your DNA, altering yourself on a cellular level if you can learn the frequencies that you need to chant. You won't need candles or magic or anything. I mean, we're literally walking magic anyway. But if you want to be able to refine that magic and make an impact on yourself and heal yourself and raise yourself to a level where you can heal others and help others, then definitely chant. That is the most powerful thing. We as people of color, we have the power of the word. We have the power of spoken word. You know, that is our power. Our power is the words that come out of our mouth.
What makes people of color so powerful with the power of word? What is it in particular?
Well, I think that again, we are a 9 of diamonds, which is related to you, by the way, your card, the 9 of diamonds.
9 of diamonds, all right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're able to, this our way of communicating has always been vocal communications, different types of vocal communications, but the vocal communications that we do create a unison with each other. You know, like a chorus, like a harmony, like a choir. They come in unison with other people, and we all can get on the same page through that. You know, so that's the key. That's the key to our power, is being able to get on the same page. We get on the same page through music. You know, we'll all fall in love with a song, and we'll go around singing this song everywhere, and we're all on the same page. And it doesn't matter if you like or dislike this other person. You're singing this song together. You're all on the same page.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Amazing. Listen, family, I gotta get you back on here soon, because wow, this was such an amazing show. Like I'm excited.
We're living in an amazing time. That's what I'm here to translate. I'm here to bring that energy to let you understand that even though it looks like the sky is falling, we're in an amazing time. This is a time when you want to sit back, put on your seatbelt, enjoy the show. It's amazing. Like, it shouldn't be scary. It shouldn't be nothing that you should be afraid of. This is a new beginning. This is a rebirth. You know, so this is something that you've been asking for.
Sometimes the things we ask for don't come the way we ask for them.
No, they don't, because the universe knows how to bring it together. We don't. We only see like a little piece. But the universe knows, you ask for something, it knows the whole equation. It knows everything that needs to come together to give you what you asked for. And sometimes giving you what you asked for is moving other people out of the way.
Tell the people real quick about your cryptocurrency, Queen, before we get out of here. We didn't mention that.
Guap coin. Guap coin. That is my heart. That is my heart, because to get the opportunity to see us recreate money like we did, because we did create money, to see us do it again, and to see us be able to put something in use in our own communities, and something that could also get us on the same page, is awesome. And this is the opportunity to do it. This is Guap coin is a total spiritual thing for me. It's definitely spiritual money for sure. You know, so we're just asking that people download and get the wallets. The wallets are on Android and iOS. We're getting ready to put out an app which will allow people to trade it easier amongst each other, because really this should be peer-to-peer. We shouldn't be dealing with exchanges. That's Wall Street. You know, Wall Street is dying. We should be able to exchange our own money amongst one another. So making that as easy as possible is my mission, and making sure that we're all educated, even our grandmothers and grandfathers are educated about this new money that's hitting us, is my mission as well. So definitely look into GuapCoin. You can visit guapcoin.org. You can join the Telegram. You can join the community, guaptalk.org. You can ask questions. You can inbox me and ask me about GuapCoin. If I'm available, I will tell you.
Indeed. Yeah. Make sure y'all look into that. GuapCoin.
Somebody asked, this isn't a pump and dump. We've been here since 2017. Pump and dumps don't last that long. So we've been here since 2017. We've roughly been around the same value all this time. We're building an ecosystem. Pumps and dumps is what you're seeing now happening on Twitter. We've been here. Definitely not. I was on CNN a couple of weeks ago, sitting right next to the SEC chairman. So trust me, we're not a pump and dump.
Indeed. Listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Amazing show. I know the show gonna get a lot of views, and a lot of people going to share the show. I advise all of y'all to share the show for everybody to get hip to what's about to happen in 2022. Make sure you like it. Make sure you get a cardology reading from the sister. And besides that, this is Brother Rich, Aquarius and Maximus. We signing out, family. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.